There is one thing stronger than all the armies in the world put together, and that is an idea whose time has come. Idea perhaps is the most dangerous and most powerful of all the weapons. Hello and a very warm welcome, viewers. You're watching the special presentation of Sansad TV on the journey of startups. India has the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. And if you're an aspiring entrepreneur or even otherwise, this is your destination as we script the novel success stories of unicorns, bin and small level startups, analyze the roadblocks and give wings to your dreams of becoming a job giver and not being a job seeker. So today, let's hear the story of Startup Park Plus and its founder, Amit Lakhotia. When Amit Lakhotia, an IIM Ahmedabad alumni, was working at Paytm, he saw the company's employees struggle looking for parking slots within and around the office space and wasting 15 to 20 minutes every day in the process. He decided to solve the problem with technology and founded Park Plus in 2019. Park Plus helps car owners struggling with car parking, FASTag management, challans and car washing, car insurance with a comprehensive ecosystem. Its solutions are currently deployed in several Indian cities including Bengaluru, Mumbai, Delhi and NCR. However, Park Plus now plans to expand its footprint across 25 cities in the next 3 months. The startup has 700 plus societies, 100 plus apartments and 20 plus malls on board and has added new clients to the platform, which will be going live soon. In its effort to become a super app for cars and car owners, the platform will gradually extend partnerships for car-related segment. Amit, welcome to Sansad TV and thank you so much for joining us. So talking about Park Plus, you told me once you were parking your car and a guard got very difficult and very nasty. That was the genesis of Park Plus. So how did that idea come to you? Take us through the journey.
So first of all, thank you for inviting me here. And I think parking is one of the problems which every car owner in India, whenever he takes his car out, faces. So the problem for me, like I used to work at Paytm, I built the whole payment business for Paytm. And Paytm had limited parkings. So you would come to office, you'll ask the guard, "Bhaiya, andar jagah hai kya?" And he'll say, "Nahi hai." And then you go to a government authority parking and there are no slots there. Then you try to figure out on the road where to park. And it will take you anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes. And on those streets of Noida, if you are taking a U-turn, you'll actually end up blocking the whole traffic. So, and this used to happen nearly every second day. And this is what the problem which most of us also face who do not have dedicated parkings in their offices, because offices come with limited parking. So my idea was that when technology is solving for so much of stuff, you don't need to carry cash anymore. Everything is available on map. Everything is available on mobile. Is there a way 500 meters away from the office, I can open my app, I can figure out whether there is a parking in the office. If no, if there is a parking nearby. If no, on the street where I can park. Or if no, then can I go to my office, take my car and the valet takes it away and everything is taken care of. So that is broadly how the genesis. So after Paytm, I went to Indonesia, and that is a point of time I also saw a lot of things getting structured, unstructured things getting structured out there. So when I came back, some of the problems, like for example, everybody on the ground now, because of Jio and TikTok, had a smartphone. Zomato and Swiggy had taught people how to take order, how to go to restaurant, how to deliver on the customer, figure out the addresses on the map, and this whole process takes 10 minutes now. So everybody is now educated on how to deliver on the app. So we thought, why don't we leverage this opportunity to solve one of the toughest problems of the urban infra. IBM studies in 2010 shows that Indians spend close to about 5 days figuring out parking in a year. That's the kind of time, and the road speeds in Delhi, the traffic speed in Delhi have been coming down for last 10 years because one lane is taken by the cars which are parked. And why are they parked? Because people don't know where to park. So unless we give citizens a easy way to figure out where to park, then it is bad. It may not be right on our part to force them to figure out parking on themselves. So that is something what we have been building on our platform. When I came back from Indonesia, I said, let me build this. this is a very interesting thing to build, and this is probably the right time to build. Another example have been, we all goes for movie tickets, like, and you tend to reach the cinema at the last minute. Then you are figuring where to park for next 10 minutes, and you end up missing the first 10-15 minutes of the movie every time. And this has happened with so many of us every time. So I thought, like, is there a way where this, for the car owner, whenever he is taking his car out, is there a way where this whole problem gets solved very quickly? That is how the genesis of the problem started.
गाड़ी लगाने के लिए जगह नहीं है. That's a very simple thing to say. But building an entire business on it must have been a task. So how did you think of that business model?
So what we are building is, we are building super app for car owners. So everything around your car happens on a single platform, starting with parking, access control, challan, insurance, denting, painting, servicing, buying, selling. We are building everything. And when we are building everything, we now have roughly about 40 lakh car owners on our platform. 1 out of every 10 car owners in India is on our platform. And the idea is, if we offer them a lot of services around their car available on a single platform, which is today not available anywhere, it becomes easy for us to gain users on our platform, get them to transact, and then obviously make a cut on every transaction that goes in. In India today, there are close to about 4 crore cars, and Indians spend close to about 2 lakh rupees per annum on his car. So that is like a 8 lakh crore kind of annual spend that happens on the car. And this is on day-to-day level. Buying spend, selling spend, OEM spend, dealer spend, all those spends are extra. So it's a fairly large business, fairly large problem to solve for.
So 40 lakh cars on your platform. How did this market validation come through? Because I know that you tied up with the societies, the malls. How did you sell this idea to them?
So see, when we went to them, like, everybody faced the same problem. Like, for example, now COVID happened. Now, if parking is one of the spaces where it is still parchi driven, cash driven. Nobody wants to touch a parchi now. Nobody wants to touch a 10 rupee note now. And all malls now wanted contactless, touchless solution, because when a customer is coming in the mall, like, the first thing, if he is doing into a contactless, if it is touching a manual parchi, he becomes uncomfortable. Similarly, if you look at societies, like, there are manual barriers everywhere. So which again means that if every time you get out of your society, you have to stop. The guard will look at a sticker and everything. That's time consuming, that's irritating. And that can be completely automated, because we put a RFID tag on the car, the system reads that tag, it detects automatically whether you are a resident, whether you are allowed, not allowed. If you are allowed, you can get in seamlessly. Why do you require a manual assistance there? And today, roughly 1 out of 4 societies in Gurgaon use Park Plus. 1 out of 10 societies of Bombay uses Park Plus. We have now 2,000 plus societies, 200 plus corporate buildings. In fact, 25% of all malls across India today use Park Plus. The system has been very popular. It has been widely appreciated, and it has taken us less than 1.5 years to get this all penetration.
So in such a short span, this kind of market, I'm sure your team must be very, very efficient. You also spoke to your team members. Let's listen in.
It is an absolutely amazing experience to work here. The sheer energy of the place is exhilarating. We're super privileged to work with a bunch of highly motivated, highly intelligent, highly talented people who are working together and egging each other to grow and solve the country's real problems on the ground. Every day we are picking up real problems on the ground which nobody has attempted to solve for. And the sheer ambition with which the team goes and takes up those challenges is just mind-blowing. So it is, all I would say is, every individual must try and work at one of these startups and see if he can change the future of India.
Before this, I have been working in a structured organization. This is my first startup. While working here, it's feel a very different vibe and a positivity in the environment, because what we are trying to solve is the latent need of the user. The user is even not aware what he really wants, and through digitalization, how can the overall ecosystem can help him. The kind of positivity and the energy and the sense of achievement which team carries when they basically deliver the experience to the user is something which gives a extremely motivation environment to the overall ecosystem. And we are happy by creating this something for the user or the citizens for the nation, where user can have a digital experience of being part of the startup ecosystem.
So recently it was all in the newspapers that you've raised close to 250 CRS funding. What was the model that you thought of? How did you get your investors to say yes to your idea?
Yeah. So initially it was hard, because this is a kind of a model which doesn't exist globally. There is nothing called a super app for car globally. And the parking problem where we started with is so hard and so complicated with so many vested interests that people felt, I don't think so it can be solved. But the way, one of the things around my past background, around Make My Trip, building the whole payment business for Paytm, in last five years back, people used to say everybody runs on cash in India. Why would anybody adopt digital payments? And today, every panwala, chaiwala, everybody is on digital payments. So I think people took a bet on me and saying if those journeys could change India, probably this is another journey which requires change, and probably we are the right people to build it. Having said this, we also build a detailed business model. We also build a detailed go-to-market plan kind of a thing, saying how would we work, how do we get car owners on our platform, how would we get them to transact, how would we solve for their problems, how would we work with the government, how would we work for societies, and so on and so forth. So we put in a lot of effort on that side to get investors on board. So first 2 years of journey has been hard. Also because the COVID happened, suddenly all the plans got disrupted because of lockdowns and everything. The and offices got shut down, malls got shut down, people weren't coming on the road. Like, it was hard. But as we used that time to build our whole product and everything, and then we are grateful that our investors kept faith in us and kept supporting us. So when I started my journey, I raised close to about 75 crores at that point of time. And that was, as I said, a lot more on the previous experiences that I had, previous businesses that I had built. And as I said, like those three businesses, Paytm, Make My Trip, Tokopedia, all three are listed today. Put together, all three of them are now $50 billion companies. Like when I joined, they were $500 million companies. So the companies grew nearly 1000x. Now, that is the reason why I was able to raise the first set of 75 crores. And then we went on the ground. We picked up use cases by use cases, access control, then parking, then FASTag. In fact, today we are the biggest distribution partner for FASTag in India. And investors saw that happening. Investors saw the consumer love. They were able to validate the model that we are building. In fact, we are also fairly decently, we have a decent set of revenue also coming in. So that was good enough for us to go to investors again. And then we raised another 175 crore kind of a thing about last year. So going towards a total of about 250 crore in funding. We are about a 1300 crore company right now.
So 1300 crore company, what inspires confidence in your investors? Let's find out.
Why we invested in Park Plus? Number one reason, founder Amit Lakhotia. Amit is one of the original internet entrepreneurs before internet has become now very well known and hot. He was at Make My Trip. He's the core architect of Paytm wallet. He has been an entrepreneur himself. Before Ola and Uber, he had started a ride-hailing company, then went and worked with one of the largest companies in Indonesia called Tokopedia, which has now gone public. So Amit is a very, very accomplished entrepreneur, and so that makes life very easy. And then I guess the question is, if you look at parking in India, everybody would have faced probably that as one of the big problems. So excellent entrepreneur solving a very large problem makes life for us as investors very easy. So we are super excited to be in the company. Now, between the original plan and how quickly the opportunity set has evolved, where today Park Plus is the largest issuer of FASTags also for cars, it is just mind-boggling, and the opportunity set just keeps becoming larger. So we are super excited, and Amit has also built a great team. So super excited about being on this ride together.
But Amit, building a company worth 1300 crore in such a short span of time, you started in 2019 and we are in 2022, mustn't have been easy. What were the challenges? What were the roadblocks?
Okay. I think it has been super hard for last 3 years. It has been super hard because, first of all, as I said, there is nothing to copy. There is no such business model globally. It's a completely India-specific business model built on India-specific or a developing country's problem around cars. The cars ownership, like our public transport, isn't up to the mark. So as the affluence grows up, there is a more propensity for people to take cars. So more, and still, like in India, only 30 people out of 1000 people have cars. In US, it is 900 people out of 1000 people having cars. So we still have a long way to go towards the car ownership. But even at 30 cars per 1000 people, Our roads are struggling, our highways are struggling, we do not have enough parking spaces. There is so many chaos problems every day. In fact, Delhi police official data says that they receive close to about 300 calls every single day for fights on parking, for which they actually can't do anything. In fact, the Delhi police and the lawyers fight, which happened a couple of years back at Tisajari, happened because of parking, because a lawyer parked his car at the police side. So it's a massive problem. And not only parking, like look at challans. 90% of Delhi cars have at least 2 challans because of the cameras and everything. But most of the people aren't even aware of how the challans are paid, because the time you bought the car, the number that was given is very, very different from the number that you have today. So effectively, government is losing revenue, and the customer and the consumer doesn't even know that there is a challan. Same thing happens. So I'm saying even there are vested interests in the parking, getting consumers on board. Then the COVID disrupted everything, because our basic premise, our basic customer that we targeted was the customer which is going to the offices, the customer which is going to the malls. And like 4 months after I raised my first round, COVID happened, everything got shut down. There was no visibility actually of what is going to happen. And companies were firing people left, right and center. And I took a call that I'm not going to fire anybody from my team because of COVID. So in fact, we didn't fire anyone from COVID. When the COVID started, before the first wave, we were about 60 people. Before the second wave, we were about 250 people. Today, we have close to about 700 people on the platform. So we have been growing even at a people level 3x. We didn't fire. And that was hard, because when everybody in the internet ecosystem is firing people, we are holding back and saying, no, these are the people who have worked with us. We are not going to fire. Same things if you go to societies, if you go to corporates, their systems just didn't work. So building that whole ecosystem together was very, very hard. And especially, as I said, we would have put in close to about 7,000 barriers, boom barriers on the ground. There is nobody in India who would have even put in 300 barriers. And I am one of those guys who have never worked with hardware any time in my life. So making sure that hardware across so many places is working seamlessly and efficiently all the time. Like, it was super hard. And for a young company like ours, like where there was culture setting is what happens in the beginning. And if you can't see the people, how do you set up the culture? Everybody comes from a different culture. How do you align them to a single culture? It is hard. We overgrew our space. Like today we are operating out of our 4th office. And like every 6 months we have been overgrowing the space. So like it has been a continuous movement, getting people on board, getting them believe in the journey. And like, for example, people are like, ये कभी होगा भी क्या? And then people are saying, मैंने आप देखा था, मेरी सोसाइटी में लगा हुआ है. अरे आज मैं वहाँ गया था सिलेक्ट सिटी वॉक पे, वहाँ मैंने आपका सिस्टम देखा, कितना बढ़िया सिस्टम चलता है. I didn't have to stop. And people are like, wow, this is the experience I want. And like, these are the car owners. These are the top 5% of Indian population. These have the spending power. Why shouldn't these people be getting the best of the experience? And when it can be delivered through technology? Like, why should the people wait in queue? The FASTag has been a great initiative. It has been able to cut down lines on the tolls. And I think we have used the same technology to provide, we have reduced the lines on the parking and everything. And so all those challenges, and getting investors on board at the same time, how do you tell them what you are working, how it will work out, team level, ecosystem level. Now we have been able to get top OEM brands like MG, Hyundai, etc. on board. Again, going to them, again helping them understand. In fact, I don't think so Hyundai or MG would have any company which is less than 2 years as their partners. We are probably the only guy. Like, you have to become at least a 7 to 10 year kind of a journey to become a partner of these kind of people. For them to take a call on us when we are so young, when we are still building, hats off to those guys. We have got new car dealers on board. We are getting second-hand car dealers on board. Now we are getting into more cities as the third wave passed away without a lot of damage. And we opened 10 more cities last quarter. So we are now live in more than about 20-25 cities. We have now close to about 2 lakh parking spots available on the app. And the parking operators, again, they have been comfortable dealing in cash. There have been an inertia around that as well. MCDs have been comfortable dealing in a particular way. Again, there are inertia around that. So going to everybody, just keep banging doors, just keep explaining them the model, just keep showing them the green shoots everywhere, like convincing everybody and allowing us to do one pilot, after one second pilot, then the third pilot, then delivering on a tech product level continuously. I think it has been a super hard journey. This is a journey which is similar to my Paytm journey earlier, because you went to literally every shopkeeper and say, would you keep this QR code? And this is a magical QR code. Somebody will come, somebody will scan, and you will get the payment next day automatically. And it's like, ऐसे थोड़ी होता है कभी, ऐसे तो कभी हुआ ही नहीं. It's the same disbelief. Like 5 years back, that was the disbelief. Now today the disbelief is नहीं, एक ही जगह सब कर दोगे. कोशिश है. Now we have close to about 40 lakh car owners on the platform. By this year end, we'll have about 1 crore car owners on the platform. So 1 out of 4 cars of India would be on Park Plus. And idea is like, can we take it next year globally? Because this is a product which doesn't exist globally. This is a made in India kind of a product built for India so far. Will require some tweaks, but I think whether it is, I was in Dubai last week. Before that, I worked in Singapore. I worked in Jakarta. I have seen Tel Aviv. Like all these cities require the same product. So gradually, hopefully by next year, when we meet, we will be able to showcase you some of the success stories outside India as well.
Absolutely, Amit. All ears for all your success stories. But an idea where people said, ye successful hoga, ye implement hoga, to a 1,300 crore company, to 1 crore cars on your platform, to eyeing 500 CR in next 2 to 3 years. What is the strategy? What are the plans?
So I think, as I told you, like the market is fairly large. Indians spend close to about 8 lakh crore on their cars every year. And what internet has done, if you look at last 10 years, this is the current spend. When internet comes in, the spend only goes up. 5 years back or maybe 3 years back, you may be ordering only twice food online or on phone. Today, people order 20 times. I took my first cab in 2012 because there is no cab system in Delhi. But now people were taking like 20 times a month. So the spend only goes up. So our idea is, if we make the lives of these guys comfortable around the car, the whole platform, then the spend through the platform will just keep going up. So I think we should be able to get to about 500 crore in revenue by next year. And gradually the idea is next 3 to 4 years, is there a possibility for us to get to about 1,000 crore in revenue? And this is not the GMV, this is the actual revenue that we would be making for us.
So Amit, this is a very inspiring story, but tell me, what is your message to other budding entrepreneurs, particularly in this line?
Okay. I think the first of all thing is things will never go as per your plan. You need to first of all have a plan, but things will never go as per plan. Like for example, my whole plan was based on corporate parking and mall parking. And just after raising 4 months after raising the capital, all of things got shut down. In fact, things are opening now. So my plan is actually delayed by 2 years. But idea is now, how do you quickly pivot to other things? So are you able to understand the user pain point clearly? So where you know, if this will not work for whatever external environment, can I make other things work? Can I keep just moving? I think that is the first thing. The second thing is, especially now, this scenario, like a couple of things have happened. Like one is entrepreneurship has become cool. You don't have to explain your parents and friends why are you doing entrepreneurship. There's a far more support on the ecosystem. There is far better funding available, far better mentors available. But finally, it is about execution, and that is what you will have to do. Nobody else can execute on your behalf. Idea is good, and there are enough people like you who are going with the same idea. Whoever can out-execute others is going to win. And third part is, see, as a startup, you are running always against the time. In smallest possible time, with least money, how quickly can you get to your product market fit? Where you know, and the customer knows that this is a product that I need. If this product vanishes tomorrow, my life will be in trouble. And that is when the customer thinks that way. That is a point of time he starts valuing your product, and that is a time when he starts paying for your product. When the payment starts happening, then the business starts running. You can't build business just on the external investment. The customer has to pay you money. So I think the shorter the time frame, the lesser the money you use to get to that level, that is most important. The cycles are there. Last 4 or 5 years, it has been boom cycle. Whenever I am talking to VCs now, it is likely slightly bad time of the economy right now from fundraising point of view. But if you are running your business frugally, if you know what your customer wants, if you can keep executing, it's a great place to be in.
All right, so being frugal and of course perseverance is the key. That is the biggest message that you're giving to other entrepreneurs.
And getting to product market fit faster.
Right.
So you are basically running against time.
Right.
So when you are running against time, like people will give you time only say for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. If you don't deliver in those 2 years, people will say, "Pata nahi kya kar raha hai."
So if you have an idea, go and execute it.
Yes.
Well, Amit, all the very best, and I wish you all the success and all the best for all your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Well, viewers, that's all we had for you in this edition of The Journey of Startups. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to Sansad TV. Namaskar.